Matt Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
And we're very pleased that you are here with us. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Plus, you can download this anytime at your leisure or leisure.
Yeah, which do you prefer?
Leisure, probably.
You go with leisure?
Yeah.
Yeah, leisure seems kind of...
Leisure seems uppity. Yes.
Jinx.
Elitist.
Yeah.
At your leisure. You may download this at your leisure, if you will.
Exactly.
So, at your leisure, you can go to iTunes, for instance, download it there. Spotify, it's a great place. Google Play, YouTube, the whole show's available on YouTube now.
Stitcher?
Stitcher? Mm-hmm. All of those and so many more. Please do. Please download it. Rate it. Review it. Rate it. And subscribe, if you would. And I think that's...
And stuff.
I think that's all we can
Covered
say
it.
on that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're just begging you. At this point. 888-900-3393. So, really bad accident yesterday at NASCAR at the Daytona 500. It started over the weekend on Sunday, and then I guess it got rain delayed until yesterday.
Correct.
So they went again. And at the very end of the race is when this occurred. This might be really disturbing to some, so really horrific.
Yeah, this was
accident
coming down the final stretch right at the finish line. Rob, if you want to go ahead and play this,
Ryan Newman off turn
watch the lead car
time,
on this.
To the inside. Here comes Hamlin up the outside.
Oh, he gets bumped.
Into the wall, flipped in the air, T-boned while in the air, sparks flying, fire starts after he crosses the line on his roof. It's
upside down. And then bursts into flame. Jeez, that's really horrifying.
And for hours,
they didn't know what happened to him.
Social media trying to figure out, is there any information whatsoever? And it was silent. I mean, here's another angle. Look at that. From right there.
Oh, yeah. Actually goes airborne a little bit. And then gets hit. Oh, man.
It is, it's tough to watch.
Wow. In slow motion, you could tell that's really...
So for several hours, no information came out. It felt like Daytona, the way it ended in 2001 with Dale Earnhardt when he passed away there at the track. And so finally, NASCAR did, or I guess the team... his racing team did actually release
made a statement that he was treated at Halifax Medical Center, which is where they took Dale Earnhardt. He's in serious condition, but doctors have indicated his injuries are not life-threatening. So that is a huge blessing.
And after seeing that...
Wow, that's awesome.
And like the bar next to his driver's side window was bent in. You thought, oh,
jeez,
gosh, what... So
I mean, that was a horrific looking accident. It's amazing how these cars are built and how well they protect these drivers.
Yeah, I just hope that not only is it not life threatening, but I do hope that he can make a full recovery.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll give you more information on that as it becomes available. But right now, serious condition, but not life threatening, which is just fantastic. I mean, a miracle.
Yeah.
After what we just saw. 888-900-3393. Also, still controversy over President Trump being there at the Daytona 500. I guess he's not supposed to do any of these events. And he drove the beast around the track. What'd you want him to take? A moped? There's the president on a moped driving it around, starting the Daytona 500. I mean, people have to make a big deal out of every single thing he does. Every decision, every non-decision, everything he says, everything he does.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that it makes sense. They keep the president's blood type in the beast. So in case, the unthinkable happens. Mm-hmm. That is...
It's amazing.
That's good thinking.
Yes.
But there's just...
Yes, it's apparently loaded with a lot of things. Some of the things we don't even know because it's top secret. But that's quite a vehicle. It's cost a few dollars to manufacture that car. 20,000 pounds.
Is that how much it weighs? Huh?
Mm-hmm. Cadillac CT6 stretch sedan, fully loaded. As you mentioned, bags of the president's blood type, as well as features to ward off just about every kind of terror attack or assassination attempt. So it is fortified to withstand explosions, bullets, you name it, grenades.
I think the steel on the doors, let's see, I think it's 8 inches thick. I think the glass is several inches thick.
Jeez.
But the doors are as heavy as like a Boeing 737 door or something like that.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Okay.
Boeing 757.
757?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeez.
But it can throw out a smoke screen, drop oil slicks behind it.
Nails. I think it can drop nails. It's like a James Bond vehicle.
It is literally straight out of a James Bond movie.
Really, really cool.
That's cool.
888-900-3393. Also, as far as the 2020 campaign is concerned, looks like Bernie and his people are running into some issues because he's got these radical followers who are devoted to him like he's a religious leader.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a cult, the Bernie cult. Absolutely.
It is very much like a cult.
And he is attracting all comers now. And this is...
freaks.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
If his rallies are any indication, boy, Milwaukee in July is going to be interesting.
They've promised, right? To burn the city to the ground if he doesn't win the nomination. Mm-hmm. We're going to burn the place to the ground. Oh, okay, well, thank you. Continue to keep your job, and we'll just look the other way. Don't worry about it. So, some of his socialist supporters got together in Georgia.
Yeah, look at this.
Got a little photo of
group photo and
the socialist, socialist power, workers of the world unite kind of thing.
Got their fists in the air. I mean,
this is really dangerous
stuff.
They're
not hiding it anymore.
They don't care.
They do not care.
No, it's just like Glenn said. The mask is going to come off. Well, it has. Yeah. I mean, they don't try to hide it anymore. This is what they want. This is what they've been planning for. This is what they've been pushing the party to be. And here we are. The Democrat Party is essentially a socialist party now. And they're fine with it. Many of them. I mean, even if this was the Republican Party and it was going towards, I don't know, anarchy, if it was going towards some sort of a violent ideology, if it was going toward the KKK, would they not expect the party leaders to absolutely disavow and do everything they can to stop that that lurch to extremism? Absolutely they would. But I guess the Democrats don't have a problem with their party leadership not doing a thing to prevent this leftist slide of the Democrat Party. It's an amazing double standard. And I shouldn't be amazed by it anymore because we see it every
it's the new
single
reality.
day. It is, and it happens all the time. Well, he was doing a little event. Is this in
last night? Talking about
Nevada? Yeah.
Yeah. This one.
It's Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little something broke out at his event while he was speaking on stage.
You think this is like the WWE, man? Because you got the stage set up right there, and the guy's driving him into the fence. They separate these guys. Now listen to the background. Listen to the background.
My promise to you is I will never nominate anybody to the Supreme Court or the federal
It's just like... And then we're back to business as usual.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We're good. Let's talk about Supreme Court.
We don't know what happened there, though, right?
No, I don't know. It was probably...
I think one of them said, communism's the way to go. And the other guy said, no, just socialism's the way to go.
Oh.
And then they went at it.
Okay.
Yeah. They had a little disagreement.
And then a full-throated Marxist broke them up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was like, Stalin's a better leader. No, Mao! And then they got pissed.
I think that's what it was. Yeah. We'll try to amplify the audio and...
We'll see if we can find out. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure that's what the argument was.
Yeah, there's never a dull moment at a Bernie rally. Over the weekend, something else even happened there.
Yeah, he lost control of his event, which this happens now more and more frequently because this is what they fostered. They planted these seeds, and now this has grown out of it.
Bernie, I'm your biggest supporter. Bernie, I'm your biggest supporter.
Walks up and takes his mic.
I'm going to ask you to stop propping up the dairy industry and to stop propping up animal
Pause it for a second. Pause it. It's so great.
So you got to stop
She
doing
just
that.
walks up on stage and rips the microphone out of his hand.
Does nobody guard these stages?
The same thing, same kind of deal.
Biden, right?
At the Biden thing, yeah. Where his wife had to intervene with some heckler. His wife walks up to before any security gets there at all. What is the matter with these people?
I don't know, man. It's
protect
weird.
protect your candidate. That's amazing. And Bernie just like, okay, and then he walks off.
Yeah, he tried to grab the mic and said, I give up. I don't have the energy.
I am not relinquishing that mic if that's me.
And there were
no
three
way.
mics up there, too. I don't know. Do you use one to hit her over the head while you grab the other two? I don't know what you do there.
Yeah, that might be ill-advised.
Oh,
but
okay.
Let's go back to the beginning. Let's just watch. This is amazing. She just walks out of nowhere up onto stage and pulls the microphone out of his hand.
Bernie, I'm your biggest supporter. Bernie, I'm your biggest supporter.
He's trying to take all the
I'm
mics.
here to ask you to stop propping
Unreal.
up the dairy industry and to stop propping up animal agriculture.
Oh, thank you.
I believe in you.
They cut her
And they
mic.
finally cut her mic.
Okay. And I think this is where we need to stop the video because then other women come up on stage.
Oh, yeah, take their tops off, or their tops were
and
already
then
off.
They pour like milk all over their heads
my
and
gosh.
stuff. And it's
That's a good protest. That's great. People really care about your cause when you go topless. That makes all the difference in the world.
So these
Animal activism is what it was.
These are some weird pep rallies for Bernie.
Well, it's extremism though that they've fostered, and these millennials like her have been so indoctrinated that they believe it's that important. Yeah, I'm just going to interrupt this to talk about the dairy industry,
Yeah,
and you're
propping
propping up the dairy industry.
Yeah, stop propping up the dairy industry, Bernie.
If that's what we have to worry about in this country,
we're
down to
doing great.
milk.
Yeah.
I think we're doing pretty well as a country. When that's your big concern, that you're so driven by it, you've got to rush up on stage and grab the microphone from the candidate. And it's amazing that these Democrats just let it happen. Okay, whatever, let her talk for a minute. And then they finally kill the mic. Rather than somebody going up on stage, security, for instance, and physically removing her before she says a word. How is it possible nobody got to her before she started babbling nonsense about the dairy industry? It's dangerous because one day it could be somebody with a knife.
Exactly.
And then they're really going to be sorry.
That's what I'm saying.
Really
You
bad.
don't know what her intentions are.
I have no idea.
And so
No idea.
if I'm Bernie Sanders, I'm feeling threatened from the word go.
Yeah, absolutely. And, he's a 78-year-old guy. Apparently, he couldn't keep the microphone from that young woman. I guarantee she's not taking that mic out of my hand. No, I'm sorry. I'm not going to let you do that. Amazing.
Yeah.
There's also another protest.
Oh, this is fun.
Truck driver versus pig farm protesters. The animal activists are
they are emboldened
really
right now.
They're on a tear.
Uh-huh.
Look at this.
All right, just stand there. Uh-oh. Truck driver, no quarter. I'm coming through. He does not apply the brakes.
Yeah.
Now watch this last guy. Oh,
That's great.
I missed it. This one guy tries to hit the side of the truck. Is that going to hurt the truck?
That's great. See, that's how you handle it.
Yeah.
They'll move.
Can we see that one more time? Just watch this. I mean, they scatter.
Move.
They got nothing there, man.
And he knows they're going to.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to stop you.
Just
'cause-
watch this one guy's like, oh yeah, I'll hit the side of the truck as it goes by. Watch this. And then he's like, oh no, I don't want to get run over. He's so dumb.
That's fantastic.
Idiots, man.
I love that. I love that.
I knew you would.
Yeah, we're going to stop this truck from going because there's pigs on board. Okay, no, I'm going to move because he's not stopping.
What about your cause, though?
Yeah, well, I don't want to get killed for it.
We'll stand your ground, and then we'll call a charge on the truck.
Would have been very sad if they had stood their ground because they would have gotten run over.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy was not stopping.
I was watching those wheels, man. There was they did not slow down at all.
Fantastic. 888-900-3393. All right. Let me take 60 seconds and tell you about Keeps. Keeps is a great company that helps you stop losing your hair. If you've been losing your hair for a while, you're trying to figure out what to do, this is the way to go. Keeps offers the generic versions of the only 2 FDA-approved hair loss products. That's the real deal. And the generic versions save you a fortune. So it's really simple. You just go online, answer a few questions, snap a few pics of your hair, and a doctor will review everything and recommend the right FDA-approved hair loss treatment for you. Then it's shipped discreetly to your door. And you're probably wondering, yeah, but will it work? Well, 66% of men experience hair regrowth. 66% have hair that regrows, that you lost, and now it's coming back. 90% experience hair loss stoppage. So, since losing your hair sucks so much, do something about it. Here's the deal. Go to Keeps, KEEPS.com/Pat. Get your first order of Keeps hair loss treatment for 50% off. So because they're the generic versions, they're already more affordable. Now you get another 50% off. Half off. KEEPS. Keeps.com/Pat. That's Keeps.com/Pat.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
All right, got some tweets here at Pat Unleashed. Yanzer Phoenix tweets, leftist snob voice definitely just turned leisure into ledger. Is that what it just said?
Leisure into
yeah,
leisure.
Leisure into ledger. Well, I mean, when you say leisure, it sounds more like ledger. Anyway, Rodney in Virginia. Speaking of Virginia, I got some good news on that front. Bernie just got Kanye'd. I'm going to let you finish. But stop pumping up the dairy industry. Greedy Skyhole developer. They clearly believe in protecting their campaign stages as much as protecting the nation. In Virginia, the ban on assault weapons failed. Everybody just assumed, I guess, that was a foregone conclusion, and because Democrats were in control now, that was going to happen. But apparently, some people got swayed by the turnout against the gun confiscation and the gun banning. So
you did a great job, Virginia.
It's awesome. Yeah. Now the same thing's got to happen in Arizona because they've got another piece of legislation that could ban guns. In fact, handguns, not just assault rifles. Not just the AR-15s and the AK-47s, but guns like Keith is holding right now.
Well, I don't think
because it holds how many? 14?
Well, mine does. Yeah, like my handgun does. So yeah, it's very similar to this one actually. So yeah, it's gonna because it's 10 capacity. They're looking to ban in Arizona.
You can only have 10 bullets in the gun at any time.
And 90 days from
what
when
if you got 11
law?
people coming at you? Then you got a problem. What if you have 3 people coming at you and you're not that good a shot? Or because, it's a stressful situation,
sure,
you miss a few times.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a million reasons to have more than 10 in your magazine. Just, it's ludicrous. Get a shotgun. Just get a shotgun.
Thank you, Joe.
All right. Also, Alan Dershowitz talking about George Soros asking Barack Obama to investigate some undisclosed person. This is breaking now. Harvard Law School professor emeritus Alan Dershowitz told Breitbart that billionaire left-wing financier George Soros told then-President Barack Obama to investigate somebody. We don't know who exactly it was, but apparently,
yeah, we're gonna find out.
George Soros is like this is a surprise.
Yeah,
directing actions of our government.
So there
is
according to Dershowitz, there is a what is called a Form 302 with the FBI when you want them to investigate somebody.
Yeah,
and apparently this is what Obama used to direct the investigation of a private citizen at the behest of George Soros. So when this thing does go to court, as Dershowitz says, that's when it will become public, and he says in the near future.
Yeah, he said he hasn't released who it is, but he says that will come out in the lawsuit soon. So we'll see. I mean, who could that could be anybody. Could be Donald Trump. Could be Glenn Beck. I don't know. That'll be interesting, though. Because George Soros, he's just a kindly old grandfather who just happens to have a lot of money. I mean, he's not some, behind the scenes dark figure in the shadows that's really running the government.
No. What are you...
He can't just ask people to investigate someone he's not pleased with and then have them do it. Come on now. Also, in China, man, things are getting bad there. Jeez. I mean, if it's not the virus, it's now the locust plague reaching China.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. It's like, what is going on? China's like
don't know.
Sim City creation gone bad all of a sudden.
Gigantic swarm of locusts that's ravaged millions of acres of crops across East Africa has now been spotted reaching the Chinese border. Billions of the insects, of course, have destroyed food supplies across Kenya, Somalia, and Ethiopia in what's been described as the worst plague in decades. Some say ever. With vast swaths of the population in the region already facing food shortages due to poverty, the UN has warned action has to be taken to avoid another shock to the region. But footage has now surfaced showing thousands of the locusts seemingly reaching the border of China, adding yet more problems. I mean, they're struggling with coronavirus. It's so bad in China that you've got armed gangs of people stealing toilet paper. A gang of knife-wielding men jumped a delivery driver in Hong Kong and stole hundreds of toilet paper rolls. They've become a hot property, I guess, in the densely packed business hub, despite the government saying, oh, no, we got plenty of toilet paper. Well, then you go to the grocery store and you see, you don't have any toilet paper here. The shelves are empty because people are stocking up. Supermarkets have found themselves unable to restock quickly enough, leading to sometimes lengthy lines and shelves wiped clean within minutes of the store opening. There's also been a run, of course, on other staples like rice and pasta, hand sanitizers. So they're taking your advice, Keith, and washing their hands, and other cleaning items. Police said a truck driver was held up yesterday by three men outside a supermarket. In a working class district with a history of triad organized crime gangs. So the triad gangs now have taken to stealing toilet paper.
And we haven't even gotten to the point where it's still a communist nation. So on top of all of that, your normalcy is your communist. And you're pining for the days of when you were just a communist country.
Remember the good times? The good times when we just went to gulags?
Yeah, those are good. Those are good.
Good times.
That's good.
Good times.
Yeah, and Tom Cotton's still saying that China's not being forthright about where that originated. And you know how we said in the past, we said that that facility where they're messing around with viruses and stuff like that, the warfare. I knew it was in the same town as the market. It's 300 yards from the market.
Oh.
That's how it just is.
Wow.
So if someone got infected, they probably went to the market and then poof. Now we're blaming bat soup, right? I mean, who would have thought we would be to where we're blaming the bats?
Amazing.
Yeah. So
there's almost no one who believes China's being honest about any of this. I don't know anybody who thinks, I believe him. I believe him wholeheartedly. Yeah, there's only 70,000 infected. You know, some reports have been up to 500,000. And there's a computer model that shows 4.4 million within, I think it was 2 months. And you can see how that would spin out of control. You get somebody who's not in quarantine and they travel across the country and they infect everybody that they travel with. And then they go home and infect everybody else and so on and so on and so on. And that's how these pandemics occur.
So we can agree now, though, that it is obviously safe to have the bat meat again.
Oh, yeah.
You can have that?
Eat bat.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what
you know
I was
what?
worried
Bat
about.
is too delicious not to eat.
Thank you. Okay, good. So,
I don't care what the risk is.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
Okay, cool.
It's worth it.
Because I just wanted to make sure, because, you shouldn't be pinning this all on the crazy
No,
animals
that's right.
they're eating in the Wuhan market.
Right.
Okay.
No, you shouldn't.
So back to the
crazy.
Back to the bat.
Are you calling bat meat crazy?
No,
it
no.
looks
The atmosphere around the market is crazy.
Okay. Yeah, because, I mean, they're crazed because bat meat is so delicious.
So
you just
good,
can't
right?
resist it.
Right, and then snakes.
So weird. So weird. So, also in China, one of their big activists who's been critical of Xi's handling of this situation has now been detained. So that's communism as usual. They are detaining critics still. So we got that going for us. This particular activist portrayed China's leader, Xi Jinping, as hungry for power. He accused him of trying to cover up the coronavirus outbreak in central China. In one of his most daring writings, he urged Xi to resign. You're just not smart enough, he wrote. Yeah, they didn't appreciate that. So they took him into custody.
Yeah, and that's your dictator for life you're talking to there, don't forget.
He suddenly went silent. There was no more, online blogging for him. The authorities in the southern city of Guangzhou detained him. And according to Xi's friends, after he spent nearly 2 months in hiding, his girlfriend, a social activist, also went missing on Sunday. So they took him into custody, and obviously they took his girlfriend as well.
That's
wow.
Cool. This is a coincidence.
Yeah, you know what? They probably just went on a romantic vacation.
Yeah.
During this coronavirus outbreak. And I'll bet that's what they did. And, probably having a beautiful romantic dinner of bat. Delicious bat.
Bat soup.
Maybe some snake meat on the side.
And don't forget that bat curry or whatever, that spice or whatever, that was selling so well down there in Indonesia.
Yeah.
Probably had to go on a trip to get that there because they're probably cracking down on selling that in China right now, right?
Yeah, probably. It's so small-minded.
Anyhow, so
it's bad. And the latest I saw yesterday, last night sometime, and I'm sure it's well beyond this now, was 71,000 people infected and almost 2,000 dead. Have you seen figures this morning?
Let me see. I had it bookmarked, and there it is. Hold on. Now the official number is, come on, 73,336 confirmed with 1874 dead.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so your number is different.
All right.
Then.
Yeah. Well, it was around 2,000. It might be 1,800.
Okay. And so 13,000 plus have recovered. So that's going to leave a gray area of almost 60,000 people.
So 13,000 have recovered. The thing is, it's not as scary as a lot of diseases that are much more potent and have a much higher mortality rate than this one. I mean, if you get it, there's a really good chance if you're healthy otherwise and you get coronavirus and you live in America.
Oh, and you live in America. Okay, now that's good. Okay. I was going to say that's assuming that the numbers we're getting out of China are accurate, which we know they're not.
Which they're not.
But you put in that caveat that a superior nation, if you're sick here,
you should probably be okay.
Able to recover, we would hope. Yes.
So
they got the cruise ship evacuated and brought back to America, and so now they're in Texas and California. I don't know if they've made those go to Nebraska yet.
Were there 44 infected? Is that what it turned out to be, or was it 14? I saw
14.
I saw 44 once, and then I saw 14. So I don't know if they just corrected it.
Is 44 the number of Americans, maybe, or no? I don't know. How many Americans?
I don't know. But only 15 Americans have contracted it, at least confirmed. So, and no Americans, nobody's died in the United States.
So 328 Americans evacuated off that ship, brought back home to this country. 14 of them are infected.
All right. 888-900-3393. More Pat Gray Unleashed coming up.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Yeah. We got some tweets here at Pat Unleashed from I Saw Above Me, from Bernie's brilliant album of many years ago.
Brilliant.
Sometime in the 80s, I think he did that. Come on, guys. The Bernie protest was utterly cool. See the dairy industry propping up the...
Oh, not the topless women. I got you.
Right. Maybe both, actually, yeah.
Sorry.
Nana Pathead tweets, if Bernie Sanders can't manage to keep a woman from taking his mic, how on God's green earth will he be able to stand up to Iran, North Korea, or Islamic terrorists? Sure, he doesn't have any interest in that. He doesn't care at all about standing up to anybody. I don't think he believes it's necessary. I don't even know if he believes the military is necessary, but if he were president, there would be vast cuts in the U.S. military. I mean, can you imagine how he would gut? I mean, that is frightening in and of itself. He would gut the military. Shore Girl M. Jeffy is single-handedly propping up the dairy industry. Milk. Amy, what's her face? Pat. It's concerning bat meat.
Oh, yeah.
It's chicken of the cave. I like that. Chicken of the cave.
Chicken of the cave.
The sniper BBB. So you're saying bat too tasty?
Bat too tasty.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. You can imagine. I mean, I can imagine how delicious bat must be. That's one thing that's inconceivable to Westerners because of our diet and the things we eat.
Because our culture is superior. We've been over this.
We have.
Yes.
We have.
We're not going to eat.
All cultures are not equal.
Right. We're not going to eat
bat
winged freaks of nature hanging from the tops of caves. And like who I know you guys have talked about this before on Glenn's show. Like who was the first person to fill in the blank to eat this,
right, to say, hey, that looks delicious. I'm going to pull its wings off and eat it. No. I don't know how that happens.
And I mean, I'd be proud if it was like, like the chicken or the turkey or something like that. Mm-hmm. But if I'm the first guy who said...
Or a lobster. I mean,
lobster, yeah.
Is there anything uglier than a lobster?
Yeah.
And you would think, I'm not touching that thing. And then you cut it open and you put its meat in butter and it's delicious.
I'm hungry now. Let's go. Red Lobster open?
Probably not yet. I'm
gonna bang on the door.
This is a special day. It's a happy birthday to the planet Pluto. And yes, to me, it will always be
absolutely a planet.
Either way, though, whether it's a planet or whatever, a planetoid or whatever they call it now.
Plutoid, that's dumb.
It's the 90th year since its discovery.
Yeah.
So to us here, I mean, it's certainly older than this, but to us, it's 90 years old.
Right. And don't forget, if you're at the water cooler and someone tries to say, well, it's actually not a planet anymore, just tell them that the head of NASA says it is. So there.
Yeah. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. Now, it orbits the sun from about 3.6 billion miles, which is roughly 40 times farther than the Earth. The planet is smaller than the Earth's moon. It's 1,400 miles in diameter is all. It moves slowly and in an elliptical orbit. 1 day on Pluto lasts almost 6 Earth days, and a year takes 248 Earth years. Yeah, I was going to say that it couldn't be 248 days, being that far out. So 1 year on Pluto is 248 Earth years.
Ooh.
It would take you a long time to experience your first birthday on Pluto.
Wait, now
You'd be waiting a long time.
I'm on board now.
Yeah, me too.
Wow, time drags on Pluto, huh? Okay.
Has a thin atmosphere, which combined with the distance from the sun, makes it just a tad chilly. 387 below. 387 below zero.
A little chilly.
Yes. Just a bit of a nip in the fall air right now on Pluto. 387. Wow. According to 9planets.org, astronomers starting in the 1840s speculated there might be some large object beyond Neptune that was impacting its orbit. Researcher Percival Lowell called this mystery object Planet X and devoted his time at the Lowell Observatory in Arizona trying to discover it. He captured images of what we now know as Pluto during his studies, but the search lapsed after his death in 1916. Finally, in 1929, Clyde Tombaugh started the search for Planet X, and 1 year later, he found it.
Boom.
So happy 90th birthday to
And he
Pluto.
was young, too, right? That guy who eventually discovered it, he was like a 23.
He was 23.
Yeah, that's...
23.
Wow. So if we've learned anything from this lesson on Pluto,
Yeah.
It's that if Jeffy lived there, he'd be 1 year old.
Probably a year and a half by now. Probably a year and a half old.
Yeah, okay. Sorry.
He's easily into
That
his
was high pressure.
late 300s.
Yeah, that was high pressure Keith math on the fly there. So, but I think I got it. Close enough, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I think so. That's all right.
Okay.
I was just reading a story, too. I was just kind of looking for it right now. NASA just contacted one of the Voyager spacecrafts that is 11 billion miles away, and they made some course correction with it. I mean, is that incredible that we can still get in touch with the Voyager?
That is fascinating.
It is far beyond now our solar system and the reach of the sun. It's in, outer space. And we just contacted it and made it, I don't know, do something.
Turn left.
Yes.
Go straight.
Now, I don't know how we know it turned left.
Yeah.
Because it'd be tough to see out there.
Or maybe we commanded it to do that in 1984,
Yeah.
and we just now got the report back that it did what we asked it to do.
Let's see.
That's amazing.
Yeah, really incredible.
So the same government that shows incompetence on a daily basis somehow created this
Right.
Voyager that
Clear
is
back
still
in the
working
70s,
in
by the way.
70s,
Yeah.
that is still working today.
I believe they were both launched in 1977. Wow. Can you imagine if they'd been launched with the kind of technology we have now? It would be amazing to see what they could do. But, yeah, they're still in contact with it 43 years later. 43 years and 11 billion miles.
I know we've talked about this, but I've forgotten. And see if you know. I hate to put you on the spot here, but what is Voyager? What kind of data is it collecting? Do we know like the temperature, or it's not sending back images?
It's a good question,
still, right? I mean,
I don't
Voyager.
know. I don't know what images it would be sending back now.
Yeah.
It's pretty dark out there, I would think, right now.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
the nearest star is kind of a hike from where it is, even though it's 11 billion miles out there.
Where's Dylan? Where's Dylan?
When you need him.
Come on, Dylan. Chime in here. Anyhow.
Is he even here today?
No, he doesn't come in this early anymore. He comes in at his leisure.
All right, 888-900-3393. A little closer to Earth. Keith's battle with the city of Fort Worth continues, because that's what he loves to do.
Battle?
Yeah, you love to battle. He is. Is this on your way in?
No, this is just a
random
ramp that I happened to take a picture of.
Oh,
and,
okay. And you pulled over and you took a picture of this pothole.
It's about 3 feet long at least.
And 8 inches deep?
About, 8 inches deep or so, just looking down as I drove by it. Mm-hmm. Maybe more, I don't know. It's a crater is what it is. And so I posted that on Twitter, and I tagged the city of Fort Worth. And, of course, they're cute, and they're like, well, have you told customer service? Oh, my gosh.
And, of course, the answer is yes.
Well, I've told them about this one stretch of road where someone's going to die because people drive through the middle of it because it's so, like you say, driving through Beirut on either side. So people go right through the middle, and they play chicken, and then right at the last minute they get back over in their lane. And I have repeatedly called them. I have emailed them. And so when they're asking me if I've ever, contacted customer service, I sent them a screenshot of an email exchange where they said the problem was resolved, but nothing has changed on the road that I'm referring to. But I loved how it got Pat heads to chime in from around the country.
Yeah, I love this.
And see, our roads are great around here, except for Fort Worth. Does that sound accurate to you?
Yeah.
I mean, Fort Worth just sucks.
I rarely find giant potholes where I
all
drive.
the other suburbs and stuff, they're fine.
Yeah.
It's Fort Worth. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I love this.
Fort Worth sucks.
This addition here to the conversation from a Pat head up in Detroit.
Yeah, somebody planted tomatoes inside a giant pothole in Detroit, and they grew. That is a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
You got a pothole so big and so deep that you could plant tomatoes in it, and you do it just to make a point. That's fantastic.
Yep, there you go. And then they put the little workhorse around it to protect it from being run over and stuff.
So it's been turned into a little mini tomato garden.
And I love Detroit's spin on this. Is like,
That's
look,
awesome.
it's a symbol of a revitalization of Detroit. No,
okay,
pave the road.
That's amazing.
And then
we have a town that finally fixed a pothole after somebody spray painted man units on them.
This is in Britain, right? I think it's in Britain.
Yes, Northeast England. They were fed up with the increasing number of potholes littering the street, and the town wouldn't do anything to repair them. So what they did was that you see blurred out a bit on the
And you
screen.
know what? And then,
oh man,
I think the story says how they changed their route to make repairs and got to that quicker than they planned to. Okay, all right, we'll go and we'll fix your man unit pothole.
It's kind of funny and pretty effective, obviously, because I guess the city decided, well, maybe we don't want a giant man unit painted on the
So
on the
that's what you
pothole.
do.
So they fixed it finally.
So if you see this,
Jeez.
if you're driving around Fort Worth and you see big potholes, I'm not condoning graffiti.
no,
at all.
no, or crudeness like this.
I am a promoter of the arts, however.
Sure.
So take that information.
Aren't we all?
Do what you will with it. But Home Depot got some cheap paint if you're interested.
All right, let me take a minute and tell you about Patriot Mobile. Such a great company, and you get the same service you do from the big boys, Verizon, AT&T, Sprint, all of those. But you also get a company that supports your values. With the others, they support Planned Parenthood, they support Bernie Sanders, they support Nancy Pelosi's agenda. It's a nightmare. Patriot Mobile is the only cell phone service that donates a portion of your monthly bill to organizations that fight for the values you believe in. Right to bear arms, life, religious liberty, supporting veterans. That's what they believe in. Starting at $25 a month, Patriot Mobile plans come with unlimited talk, text, and the same reliable nationwide service you get from everybody else. It's just cheaper, and they do better things with the money. Go to patriotmobile.com/Pat. You'll get free activation when you use the offer code PAT, plus a free gift when you open a new line. Or you can just call their U.S.-based customer service team at 972-PATRIOT. We got to stick together. Join the Patriot Mobile family now. Go to patriotmobile.com/Pat or 972-PATRIOT.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Traffic and weather together every 8 minutes on the threes all morning long to get you there on time and in one piece and let you know what the weather's going to be like. So you know how to dress in the morning, because I know that you're not smart enough to really figure that out on your own. So we do that for you, like the government.
Is it in the traffic report where we warn them of the new crater potholes in Fort Worth?
And we'll tell you where the man units are drawn on which potholes as well.
You got to be able to navigate.
All of this and much more, because we care. You know, we just really care about you. Less than half of Americans, 47%. This is written like it's a good thing.
Wait. When you pause like that, like I start to tense up. I'm like, oh,
You should.
Oh, no. What's he going to say?
47% of Americans say they would vote for a qualified presidential candidate who is a socialist.
Okay.
47%.
We're done.
I mean,
run.
I'm dumbfounded by that. I can't even fathom it. A socialist candidate is the only one among a dozen hypothetical candidates about whom a minority of Americans say they're willing to give their vote. But that's a pretty big minority.
Right? Who wrote that? Nice spin.
Yeah.
But it's less than a majority that want.
Yeah, because listen to the other possibilities. Are you willing to vote for a black president? Well, of course we are. In 2015, it was 92%. In 2019, it's 96%. Well, we already did. So shouldn't it be like 100? The only reason that most Americans or half of Americans didn't vote for the black president was because he was a socialist. Catholic, 95% would vote for a Catholic. Hispanic, 95%. A woman, 2%. No, 94%.
See, for a moment I had hope. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Jewish, I find it hard to believe. It's only 93%. 93% of people would be. Why isn't it 100% on these? An evangelical Christian.
Now that's probably 2%, right?
It's closer to 2 than the Jewish was, or any of these others are. Evangelical Christian, 80% would vote for an evangelical Christian. 80%! What? Why isn't that 100? Gay or lesbian, 76%, almost the same as evangelical Christian. Someone who is under the age of 40, 71% would vote for somebody under 40. Now, if there was a super qualified candidate, Ted Cruz type, I would vote for somebody under 40. You know, if they're obviously they have to be qualified, so they got to be at least 35. But if they're between 35 and 40, I don't care. Muslim, 66%. Over the age of 70, 63%. Boy, the Democrats are proving that right now because all of their candidates are over the age of 70, except for Buttigieg and Tulsi. How many would vote for an atheist? In 2015, it was 58%. In 2019, it was 60%. And socialist, 47% in 2015, 47% now, or in 2019. That is a disturbing figure. 47% of Americans would consider voting for a socialist. And they're proving that with, the reception that they're giving Bernie Sanders. Just that, that is just crazy. Electability by party. This is interesting because they also broke it down into Democrats and Republicans and independents, and whether or not you'd vote for all of these different groups. For a black person, 94% of Republicans, 96 independents, 99% of Democrats. For Catholics, 97% of Republicans, 94% of independents, and 96% of Democrats. You get down to a socialist. What are the numbers? Who would vote for a socialist the most? Obviously, we all know the Democrat would. 74% of Democrats would vote for a socialist. 74%. It was 49% of independents who would vote for a socialist. What is the matter with these people? How dumb can you be? 19% of Republicans, which is low, but it should be much, much lower than that. Should be 0%. 0% of Republicans would consider voting for a socialist. Geez, how have we gotten to this point? It's just amazing.
No, this is good. I'm hopeful now.
It's amazing.
Good stats you got there.
Yeah. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. I don't know which is more disturbing. 74% of Democrats would vote for a socialist, or 19% of Republicans. Who are these Republicans? Who are the Republicans that, I'm all about small government, but I love me that Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Qualified, right? He's qualified. So then, right. Whatever.
What do I care? He's going to give me free stuff? Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, as Rob has so eloquently put on the screen here on Blaze TV, survey says we're doomed.
We're doomed. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. There's your title for the show today, Martin.
We're doomed. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Yeah, just ponder that for a minute. We'll be back. Thanks for joining us. Great to have you with us. 888-900-3393. You can find this show anytime you want online. And our podcast is available pretty much everywhere podcasts. Not pretty much. Everywhere you can get your podcast. iTunes or Spotify, for instance, Stitcher, Google Play, wherever. Plus, we always post the show now on YouTube as well. And we really appreciate your signing up and subscribing to our YouTube channel as well.
YouTube.com/PatGray.
888-900-3393 and at Pat Unleashed. On Twitter, Ryan Rossentrader tweets, "It's good to know it's safe to eat bat wings again. Had to downgrade chicken wings for too long now." Stoning Duck tweets, "Disease and locusts sounds really biblical plaguey over there in China."
Yeah,
it is biblical plaguey kind of thing. I'm going to tell you more about that in just a second.
Oh, that's what we call a tease.
Very biblical plaguey. Free-range prisoner. Did you say the store shelves were wiped clean of toilet paper?
Hey-o.
See what you did there. Nations under. Who eats a bat? Just put it on some mashed potatoes, please.
That's what he said. Just put it on some mashed potatoes. Remember that?
Yeah, Jeffy.
Yeah,
Jeffy does.
did that.
Jeffy eats a bat. Milk. Swank think, whatever happened to COVID-19? Are we back being okay with being racist toward the Chinese? I just don't understand how coronavirus is racist towards Chinese. How is that? It's not even. It's not a Chinese word. It's not derived from Chinese. Doesn't mean anything to Chinese. It looks like a crown. The word for crown in Spanish is corona, right? Yeah. I mean, how does that have anything to do with? I don't know. I can't figure out these unbelievably
that's where I say,
politically correct.
don't try to. You'll lose your mind.
Yes. Mm-hmm. They call me Trigger Fist, but Billy Joel. But you're always a planet to me. That's Pluto.
Sing it with heart, Pat.
You're
always
a woman to me, always a planet to me. Jeffy's 18 Spoons, Pat and Keith. You know it doesn't matter what the head of NASA says about Pluto's planetary status. If Pluto identifies as something other than a planet, who are we to say or bother otherwise?
Yeah, we should probably talk to Pluto about this.
Bat Tartar? Silly Pat, Bernie isn't going to cut the military. Any communist worth his weight has to have a strong military to oppress its citizens.
That's a good point.
It is. Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. Also from Founders Keeper, Voyager took pics of Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto before leaving our solar system. Sent back some pictures of cool. Data, the data that it has.
Oh, yeah. So, Sir Nasty sent us this. Yeah. So, because I was asking what kind of data does it collect now that it's so far out, and I guess.
And data from Star Trek is.
There's our answer.
What it sent back.
Wow, that's good stuff right there.
All right, so we've got not just one plague that is hitting the Earth right now. We have 10 plagues,
really,
supposedly, that are simultaneously
no way
hitting our planet.
What's the normal number? What's the average, plague rotation?
0. We usually have no plagues. Now we have 10.
Well,
plague number 1.
Okay.
The swarm of locusts, armies of locusts, the size of major cities. So these swarms are that big, the size of Los Angeles. Sometimes they're 40 miles across, if you can imagine such a thing. Locusts in a swarm, 40 miles across. And they can wipe out farms, and they have wiped out farms in Africa in as little as 30 seconds. Just really unbelievable. And spreading throughout the Middle East, and now they've reached China. At least some of them have. The others are so fat from the food they've eaten, they haven't gotten there yet. So they're lagging behind a little bit.
Okay.
Billions of them have destroyed food supplies across Kenya, Somalia, Ethiopia. Worst plague for decades. Okay, plague number 2. Extremely bizarre weather patterns.
All right. Whatever.
An all-time record of 209 mile per hour wind gusts just hit California.
Oh, I
didn't even hear about that.
That's interesting.
209 miles an hour?
I didn't hear that either.
Wow. And absolutely crazy storms are happening all over the planet, supposedly. In Australia, Sydney has been thrown into chaos by a devastating storm that saw 2 months of rainfall in just 2 days. Forced mass evacuations, left 150,000 people homes without power, and prompted warnings not to drive to work. Wow.
Wow, is that recent then?
Apparently this just happened.
Put out them fires?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Well, then maybe it put out the fires in Australia. Maybe that's a good thing. Number 3, supposedly unprecedented flooding. We're seeing unusual flooding all over the world right now, and the flooding that's devastating the southern U.S. is being called unprecedented, even though it isn't. So I'm gonna rain on this particular plague. In Jackson, Mississippi, hundreds of residents either watched their homes flood over the weekend or worried the residents would soon be drenched as the Pearl River crested Monday at 36.8 feet, its 3rd highest level ever recorded. then that's not unprecedented.
Thank you.
Why do you call these things unprecedented when they're not? To stir hysteria. So this also happened at higher levels in 79 and 83. Now, when I was a kid growing up in the 70s, we were continually being told about the Mississippi River flooding. It flooded all the time. Seemed like every year there was a massive flood along the Mississippi River.
Yeah, and again, I think 94-ish, somewhere in there. I remember a big flood.
Yeah.
And then also, that was a big thing when Coolidge was president. Back in the 20s, there was a big flood. So this is
unprecedented. No, Keith, it's unprecedented. Number 4, major earthquakes. Really big earthquakes are happening with such frequency, it's very difficult to write about all of them. For instance, there was a magnitude 7.7 earthquake that struck about 80 miles from Jamaica, shaking people in the Caribbean as far away as Miami. Tsunami was recorded. It was 0.4 feet high. Is that unprecedented too? In the Cayman Islands at Georgetown, but no tsunami was observed anywhere else. Yeah. Number 5, unusual volcanic eruptions. Seismic activity has been rising all over the globe. And over the past couple of months, we've seen volcanoes all over the world pop off like firecrackers. One of the most notable eruptions that we've seen in recent days was the most powerful eruption of Mount Merapi in 90 years. Mount Merapi is in Indonesia. Okay, the coronavirus, obviously. We all know about this one. Then we've got the number 7, the African swine fever plague. They're calling it pig Ebola. It's already wiped out millions upon millions of pigs in China. And now it's spread to more than 40 other countries. The price of pork is skyrocketing in China. And to help fill the demand, the Chinese are increasingly importing pork from the U.S. Number 8. Plague number 8, H1N1 swine flu. I didn't even know this was a thing right now.
Yeah.
We heard about this years ago, but I didn't know it was happening now. Unlike the African swine fever, the H1N1 swine flu can actually kill humans. In fact, it has already killed more people outside of China than the coronavirus outbreak has. Jeez. 13 people in Taiwan have died from the virus in 1 week alone. Plague number 9, the H5N1 bird flu, which I've never heard of. This strain of bird flu caused a massive global scare a number of years ago. I guess it was just the bird flu. I didn't know it was H5N1. And now it's experiencing a stunning resurgence. China has had to kill thousands of chickens so far, and experts are warning that this outbreak could be just getting started. What in the hell is happening in China? I mean,
I told you it's a SimCity game gone bad.
Gosh, all of these plagues, well, most of these plagues involve China. All at once. And plague number 10, H5N8 bird flu. This strain is different from the H5N1 bird flu, but many believe it's even more frightening. It started to pop up in numerous places around the globe. Let me guess, China is one of them. And experts were really surprised when it recently made an appearance in Germany. The virus killed 44 birds out of a flock of 69 in one region of Germany. That's scary. Okay, so there's a bunch of plagues that are infecting the earth right now.
Oh, that's cool.
And, you know, of course, some of them are being blown out of proportion because the global warmists love to do that. And they love to fearmonger. And so that's a little portion of it. But on the other hand, we should probably be on the lookout for certain signs of the end of the times, as we've been told to do. Well, in some book that I've read a few times.
I think one of them is the Falcons win the Super Bowl, and that's not going to happen anytime soon. So I think we're safe for at least a little while.
Is that one of the?
Yeah, it's in the book of
Revelation.
Joshua.
Yeah, Joshua.
Something like that.
Okay. I've missed that one.
Yeah, well, you need to read a little closer.
Yeah, I guess so.
And it's an odd translation. It's one that's.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't specifically say when the Falcons win the Super Bowl. That's one of the signs of the end times.
Something.
Something like that. You have to sort of read into it.
Something-ish.
Okay.
It's a code, okay? It's a code, Pat, and you have to be able to crack it.
Yeah.
And I did. And we're safe because the Falcons will never win the Super Bowl. Thus, the world will last forever.
That is true.
Okay.
Also, Plymouth Rock, which, of course, signals the arrival of the Mayflower Pilgrims to the area 400 years ago, was just defaced with red graffiti, along with other nearby monuments on Monday. The historic rock at Pilgrim Memorial State Park in Plymouth was found by officials covered in red spray paint and emblazoned with the letters MOF and the number 508.
Look at that.
Do we know what this means?
No, I don't.
No official word from police on what the tags mean. 508's an area code used in Plymouth. Now, that was important to deface one of our most important monuments with spray paint. Nice. Look at that. Jeez, what is the matter with people?
I don't know what the MOF, what is that supposed to be? Does it say there?
It doesn't say.
Okay.
Other waterfront sites at the park, including a seashell-shaped, there it is, sign celebrating the upcoming 400th anniversary of the Mayflower landing, was also targeted with the red paint. Why? Because I didn't land at Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on me. Mm-hmm. That's why it deserves to be defaced. Okay?
And those are good people that run that stuff up there. Glenn had them on a few months ago.
Yes.
Really good people.
Yes. And then they have to put up with this nonsense.
And their
Why?
celebration starts in April. Their year-long or summer-long celebration. So they've got to now deal with this.
And then, of course, we've got the big event that's going to be there that Glenn is spearheading as well. So, that's going to be...
He's going to...
Close to there, but not there.
Gettysburg. Right?
Yes, it'll be in Gettysburg, which is closer
I think originally
to Plymouth Rock than this is.
Going to try to do something there, but for whatever reason, didn't work out.
All right, 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. We also have from B to Bodine.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we got the kitty cat.
This is
this is kind of what it's like kind
of like what it is when I'm offered a kale wrap and just
no way.
That's not a real sound from the cat, right?
I don't know. She's responding like it. I don't know. Let's say yes. Let's say that cat sounds like a kid. But there you are. When someone offers,
it does
kale.
sound like me when offered kale. Pretty close.
Don't forget, if you would like to see Pat in the kitchen cooking up his world famous, am I right?
Yes.
Kale recipe. Yes. It's at youtube.com/Pat Gray. Be sure to check that out.
If you want an edible way to prepare kale, that's the way to do it. Mm-hmm. So go there and find out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I react to kale like that because I hate it and virtually all vegetables. So I get none of that nutrition. Well, that's not the case anymore because now I use Field of Greens from Brickhouse Nutrition. One scoop of Field of Greens from Brickhouse has a full serving of real USDA certified organic fruits and vegetables. You know that the Yahoo Finance, says that the global superfood market is growing by $200 billion in the next few years. And experts agree that eating these superfoods are the easiest way to get nutrient-dense foods, and it's all natural. Field of Greens is not just all natural, but organic as well. And it assists with your immune system, reduces your risk of heart disease. It's prebiotic, probiotic. It's a great source of vitamins and minerals and fiber and other nutrients that you need in your body. With Field of Greens, there's no counting pills. You just put one scoop of it into a glass of water, stir it up, drink it down, and you're all set. Or you can put it into a smoothie, whatever you choose to do with it. It just sweetens whatever drink you use it in. Go to brickhousepat.com. You'll save 15% off your first order when you use the offer code PAT. Even better, if you sign up for a recurring subscription, you can save an extra 10% every month. Build a better you, one brick at a time. BrickHousePat.com. BrickHousePat.com. Offer code PAT.
Pat Gray Unleashed. Pat Gray returns.
Some tweets here from Sir Nasty. Pat, would you say the locusts are destroying food stocks? Destroying food stocks. Shot cattle, dogs for fun. They call me Trigger Fist, tweets, and the bull shall be super, and the falcon shall lie down with the skin of pigs.
Oh, see, I told you it was in there.
Yeah.
It's in there.
It's in the book of Revelations, according to this. Shall not be infringed, tweets. Pretty sure one of the potholes here in Rochester, in the Rochester area, is where Hoffa was buried.
Wow.
From Nations Under, there's a hole in the street where the road once was. Somebody's taking money.
There you go. And you're welcome. Who was that we should blame for getting that song back into our head? Do we know?
Yeah, let me see. Nations Under.
Okay. Thank you.
And from K-Stein, that pothole is nothing compared to the one in a nearby city.
Look at that.
There's K-Stein's.
And then he says it's not photoshopped.
No way. Come on now.
I mean, they would have to really be trying. Look at that shadow along his face and stuff. I mean,
look at that.
That is intense. What?
Oh, that's crazy. That's like a sinkhole. That's not a pothole.
Yeah, that's got to be like something under repair or something.
Can you imagine your tire going into that?
Can you imagine you going into that?
Man. Yeah.
And by the way, in case you're listening to the podcast, he's standing and the top of his head is even with the road.
Yeah. It's a pothole probably 6 feet deep at least.
Wow.
How is it possible the city hasn't gotten on that?
I'm sure.
I mean, that's a definite hazard.
Yeah, we don't know if it's, under
Jeez.
construction right now or what, but yeah.
From Putin on to Ritz, y'all need Steve McClellan to come to Texas to fix the holes in the road.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
remember this guy?
My name is Steve
From
McClellan.
Mississippi,
I'm
right?
running for supervisor of Beat One of Holmes County in Mississippi.
Yeah.
When I was a child, I wanted to be a superhero. I wonder what kind of superhero would I be today.
I wonder.
Oh, see?
There's
Gotta
a pothole
have somebody fix those holes. Oh, nice cape though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the spandex.
Cape and underwear. Nice. Oh, look at he's able to leap a pothole in a single bound.
A single bound. Oh, what about this one? Yes.
Yeah, you got through it.
I had to leap a skyscraper in a single bound to get these holes fixed. Got to get these holes fixed. Got to get them fixed.
You got to
What I got to do is got to be a superhero to get these holes fixed. We got to get them fixed.
Got to.
You got to get it. You got to get it fixed.
Oh, no, don't get hit. Steve,
Oh, no.
look out. Don't do it.
What the hell?
So a motorist has been stopped.
I see
Man,
this.
be careful. There's a lot of holes in this road. We got to get them fixed.
Who are you?
I'm Steve McClellan, running for supervisor of Beat One of Holmes County.
All right.
To save you from all these potholes. They got to be fixed.
They got to be fixed. You're
I'm
right.
so sick and tired of coming down these roads, tearing up my car. They need to be fixed. If they vote somebody like you for supervisor B1 to get all your holes out these roads, you will be tearing up all our vehicles.
Vote for Steve McClellan. I'm going to fix these holes.
There we go.
They got
fix
to
'em.
be fixed.
They got
Got
to be
my
fixed.
vote.
All right, ma'am, you have a nice day and you watch these holes because we got to get them fixed.
Got to get them fixed. Got to get them fixed.
Got to get the holes fixed. I think what he said there was, what he's saying, it's kind of subtle. It's hard to get the gist of it.
Yeah.
But what I think he's trying to imply is that they got to get the holes fixed.
Got to get them fixed. So you had your chance there in August, as we saw in the Democratic primary.
He did not win that.
What do you mean he didn't
Did
win
he?
that? Well,
Did he win that?
the Holmes County Herald,
Uh-huh.
serving Holmes County since 1959, I'd like to point out. I found your results from August, and, shame on you, Holmes County. You're correct. They rejected the superhero
no.
for District 1 supervisor.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
Yeah, I mean, they came down
So
to
Steve McClellan did not win the election?
3, 4. He finished 4th out of 5 people.
Okay.
And
Was it close?
The two that are in a runoff that I saw had 32% and 16%.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Let's see. Oh no, I'm sorry, 32 and 29%. So then somebody had 16%. McClellan, 10%. Oh, he finished 5th. These aren't in order. He finished 5th out of 5. Some guy finished with 13%. How did you do this? Holmes County, you had your chance and you rejected.
He showed you. You got to get those holes fixed. Now you're not going to get the holes fixed.
Don't reject Steve McClellan.
That's too late. They already did.
If he tries again, you'll have a second chance. But you know what?
Well, when they don't fix the holes.
Enjoy your potholes, okay?
Yeah.
Because that's what you've got now. Holmes County.
It's a real shame.
Mississippi.
It's a real shame you had a real shot there at electing somebody who's going to get something done.
Like if I had a superhero on the ballot, right? Mm-hmm. I would absolutely vote for them. I don't care what office, which superhero it is. I don't care if you're qualified. You're a superhero. And Holmes County, Mississippi had their chance.
They had their chance.
And as we saw in the Holmes County Herald, they blew it.
They passed it up.
Back in August.
They blew their chance. Yeah, it's a real shame.
Sure is.
It's a real shame. Sorry, Steve. I guess people don't want to get their holes fixed. Now, he obviously had the vote of that woman he stopped and saved from running into a pothole there. I mean, she stopped her car just short of it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and he had like 100 and something votes. That was 10%.
Okay.
So there wasn't that many votes up for grabs there in Holmes County, Mississippi.
Really not. All right, 888-933-93. Jeff Bezos has committed $10 billion to combat climate change. Now, $10 billion to him, that's like me committing $2 to a cause.
That's my monthly Amazon bill, roughly, though.
So think about this. For a guy who has 100 and I think his last count after his wife took some and then he regained some of it, 13 billion overnight or in 15 minutes or whatever. He was back up to about 130 billion. When you have 130 billion dollars, it's not 10 million. It's 10 billion.
Billion, yeah, with a B. Yeah. I wish the wife had gotten more in that divorce settlement, right?
Now I'm pissed.
I mean, I don't know what she would have spent the money on, but I just wish she had gotten more.
Yeah.
Because all I'm doing is every time I'm loading up my Amazon cart for next day delivery, I'm now funding climate change.
That's what you're doing.
Yay, me. Climate change, whatever we're doing with it.
10 billion. Oh, that changes everything. That's quite a commitment. Bezos announced the initiative called the Bezos Earth Fund yesterday. The fund will support scientists, activists, non-governmental organizations, and, quote, any effort that offers a real possibility to help preserve and protect the natural world, unquote. He expected to begin issuing grants this summer, and he claims climate change is the biggest threat to our planet. By all that is holy.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if my new headphones are going to be here tomorrow.
Pat Gray.
So we just had the story about Jeff Bezos committing $10 billion to fight climate change. $10 billion. Because it's such a crisis. Because the United States has pulled out of the Paris Accord. Well, it's interesting because from the IEA report, the United States of America just led the world last year in reducing CO2 emissions. I thought we were the biggest offender.
We suck.
I thought we were evil and horrible, and we pulled out of the climate change agreement in Paris. And that was so terrible. And so the rest of the world is going to suffer because of our decisions. In what is sure to be a surprise to those who vilify the United States as a major climate polluter, the U.S. led the entire world in reducing carbon dioxide emissions last year, according to the IEA. United States saw the largest decline in energy-related CO2 emissions in 2019 on a country basis, a fall of 140 million tons, or 2.9%, to 4.8 gigatons. According to the International Energy Agency, U.S. emissions are now down almost 1 gigaton from their peak in the year 2000, the largest absolute decline by any country over that period.
I mean, what else do you need?
What do you want?
And Jeff Bezos can spend his money however he wants to.
Yeah,
but
whatever.
Wow, he's dumber than I thought.
Yeah, he's barking up the wrong tree here. The report, but I mean, he's got so much money, he doesn't know what to do with it all. So go ahead and waste it on this hoax. The report and hoax in that has the temperature gone up? Probably. I don't know. I mean, there's conflicting reports on that.
Yeah, it's gone up because they make up the numbers.
Well,
they made
that
up the
too.
numbers where they didn't have weather stations.
And they make everything look unprecedented and the hottest because they go back to the past and reduce all of those numbers.
Yeah.
So that everything that happens now looks like it's a bigger increase than it should be.
I used to think it was just bad because you remember these Soviet-era weather stations in Siberia where you were forced to work for the government and record these temperatures. Okay, when communism fell in the early 90s, these guys were no longer forced to live in Siberia. They abandoned these weather stations, and it brought the world average up. I used to think it was just that was a good explanation, but no, it's more egregious than that.
Yeah.
They're literally making up numbers now where they don't have them.
They manipulate the numbers all the time. And they tell us they're doing it. And we're still like, oh, okay, yeah, gosh, it's hot. It's really hot. It's never been this hot. It's unprecedented hot. Shut up. It's asinine. It really is. But let's give them the 0.9 degrees. Go ahead and take the 0.9 degrees. There's also a 2 million degree burning orb in the sky that was really active in the 90s and early 2000s, and now it isn't as much. Of course, now they keep saying every year still. Every year. Oh, it's the hottest year ever recorded. Next year. Oh, it's the hottest year ever recorded. When I know it's not. I mean, certainly not where I live. And everybody I hear from says the same thing. Yeah, but
no, remember last April here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, it was cold well into that month.
Yeah.
It's just weather. It happens, man.
Seems like the beginning of June was chilly too, or less hot than it normally is.
We did not experience summer here in Texas, as weird as that sounds, until we got right up on 4th of July.
But give them the degree. I mean, so what? That doesn't mean that we're doing it, and it also doesn't mean that we can control it, that we can do anything about it. You're not going to be able to drive the temperature down. It's ridiculous. It's asinine. So the report credited a 15% reduction in the use of coal for power generation as a key factor in the decline. The news seems to rebuff condemnation from climate activists. Boy, nobody's going to want to report this. This is probably the only place you're going to. It's on the Blaze. Share this with your friends, with everybody you know, because nobody's going to talk about this. Because it does the opposite of what all the climate hysterical buffoons scream about every day. Trump's administration's decision last year to formally withdraw from the U.S. from the Paris Climate Agreement was supposed to be like Armageddon for the climate, and instead, we've gone down more than all the countries in the agreement. Proponents of the Paris Agreement view the deal as the only hope for reducing global emissions, which is just, again, that is ludicrous. Because by their own admission, the Paris Agreement does nothing. It doesn't do anything. I mean, Al Gore has admitted it. Let me see if I can find that really quick.
Oh, yeah, he was asked on TV. I remember that interview.
Right?
And he was forced to admit.
Listen to this.
Even if all 195 nations on 194 met their targets, it still wouldn't solve the problem.
That is correct. However,
that is correct. However,
it sends a very powerful signal to business and industry and civil society and countries around the world.
Around the world. It sends a very powerful signal.
So we send a signal. A powerful, let's be honest, a powerful signal.
A very, very powerful signal, Keith.
To industry?
To industries around the world.
Around the world. And that fixes the climate?
No, but it sends that signal. So what? It sends a signal?
Goodness.
Have you heard anything dumber than that? Okay, so it doesn't do anything to fix the problem that you're talking about. So we should compromise our economy to follow these guidelines. and it's not going to do anything for the problem, but it does send a signal. Oh, okay. Yeah. What a horrible move that was to back out of that agreement. Jeez. And then our levels go down more than anybody else's in the world. Okay, I don't want to hear about this anymore. Of course we're going to.
Of course we are, man.
But if it were up to me, we wouldn't hear about it anymore. Stop it. Oh, man. 888-900-3393. And at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Bloomberg made the next debate.
Oh, goody.
Which sadly is tomorrow night, which I don't want to watch.
No.
We have to, but I don't want to.
Oh, shoot. I have plans.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you doing tomorrow night?
This thing I can't reschedule.
You got a thing. Okay.
What time's the debate start? Do we know?
Probably 8
It doesn't
o'clock,
matter. It's whatever.
7,
It's whenever I'm doing my thing.
Now, how do you know that?
I just intuition.
Sense it. Yeah. Spider senses.
Yeah, that's what it is. So I'm just busy.
Speaking of spider senses, they might be coming from a bisexual Spider-Man sometime very soon.
I'm sorry? What was that?
Yeah, if your spider senses are tingling, it might mean a whole different thing now.
Okay, well.
Sony wants to introduce a bisexual Spider-Man with a boyfriend in an upcoming movie. Why? Because, well, that's important.
Well,
that's important.
I want to go talk about climate change
Now,
again.
forever, we've been conditioned to believe that Spider-Man is heterosexual, right? He had, what's her name?
Kirsten Dunst.
Yeah,
right?
What's her name on the show though? There's
MJ,
and then there's like 2 girlfriends, right? One is the.
I'm getting all this stuff thrown in my ear. Gwen Stacy.
Gwen.
Gwen. Okay.
You got Gwen and you got MJ, and it seems like they've both been female, and I think they both identify as such. I think they both identify as female.
Just during the movie, we don't know. Like,
we don't know what happens
when the camera
later.
stops rolling.
That's
We
true.
have no idea
That's
what's
true.
going on.
They could be non-binary for all I know. I don't know.
See?
I don't know. But now we're supposed to believe that he is bisexual. Tom Holland, who currently plays Spider-Man, has lobbied for a gay Spider-Man in the past, and now it appears his wishes are that much closer to becoming a reality. Yay! Yay! Good! The entertainment blog reported that sources have informed them Sony is developing a live-action Spider-Verse movie that would unite Holland with his predecessors, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. Oh, wow. The report said that the studio is particularly keen on getting Garfield back as they want to portray his version of the hero as bisexual and give him a boyfriend in the film.
Man, if I was one of these guys, I'd be like, why me? Why not the other guy? Pick one of those guys. I don't want.
No, it's an honor. It's an honor.
It's an honor.
Yeah.
Oh,
what's the matter with you?
That's
right. An honor. It's a privilege. It's
Yeah.
I mean, this is like a reward for their terrific acting career. Now you get to be gay. Garfield had floated the idea too. What? Garfield floated the idea of a gay Spider-Man back in 2013 during an interview with Entertainment Weekly, so it seems the actor would be more than willing to play the part should Sony move forward with the project. The news comes just months after Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige confirmed that Marvel would be debuting an openly transgender superhero in short order. Good, because we don't have one yet, and we need one. There has to be a transgender superhero.
So hang on.
So there's going to be a trans superhero, and Spider-Man's going to be bi.
Okay, so I'm gonna I'm gonna talk from a position that I'm not sure on here. But remember how there was this big kerfluffle with Sony and who owns Spider-Man? Remember that? There's that thing, and so Sony still owns it for just this movie, or what?
That I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know.
So here's my theory: if they just have him for one, or whatever, I think they're trying to mess with the franchise, right? And then hand it over and say, all right, here's your Spider-Man back. Have fun.
Maybe.
Have fun with that storyline that we just
possibly
handed you.
But if you bring it into the Spider-Verse, that way you have a whole bunch of different Spider-Men, right? And so one of them has to be gay or bisexual. And then you need a trans person. So that's terrific. Jeez. That's just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable.
It's so fun raising kids in the year 2020. Oh,
Well, you should just be telling them that all this is fine.
Oh, I do.
Okay,
Because I don't
good.
have time
Good.
to parent
Good, yeah.
and explain stuff. I'm just like, I don't know. What's the new movie? Let's go watch it. Cool.
In fact, it's a superior lifestyle. Okay, that's what you should be teaching them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just throw that out there.
You should aspire to be LGBTQIA2+. One of them, or all of them. It doesn't matter, but you should at least be one of them.
Yeah, and understand, kids, you don't have to be that every moment of your life. You could say, you know what? From like 6 a.m. to noon, I'm going to be gay. Noon to 6-ish, I'm going to be bi.
And then you can be trans from time to time. You can identify
you can mix it
as...
in maybe on the weekends or something.
Whatever. Doesn't matter.
You can be whatever you want to be, whoever you want to be, whenever you want to be.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right.
All right.
And it's being well represented in my hometown right now.
Oh, goody. Mean streets?
Yeah. The mean streets of Helena. This is amazing.
Somebody sent this.
Who sent this to us?
I forgot. Somebody tagged us in that.
Thank you for it.
Yeah.
Thank you. The Helena drag show triples in size this year.
Wow.
Okay, this is a city of 30,000 people.
Okay.
30,000 people live in Helena, Montana. And they have a drag show? When did this start? I guarantee you, when I lived in Helena, there were... Not only did it not triple in size, there just wasn't one.
This is Putin on a Ritz. He lives there, so...
Okay, that's why, yeah. After 600 people showed... This is where my dad used to go all the time. When my dad drank, and there was a time when, he had a few. And he stopped that, though, later in his life.
Okay.
But... he used to go to the Rialto bar all the time.
Okay, well then
I fished him out of that place a few times when I was a teenager. I thought, okay, he's probably at the Rialto. I'll go down there and get him. The Rialto bar in Helena, 600 people. That's a tiny little bar. 600 people jammed into that.
Oh, no.
For last year's former felons bar. So then this year, organizers knew the drag show needed to be much bigger to include more of the community. That's why Saturday's event will be spread out among 3 different downtown bars.
Oh, wait, this might have already happened.
This is great. Each with its own home. The heroes will be at Miller's Crossing. The villains will be at the Rialto. And the princesses will be at the Western. I think the Western is actually a hotel bar, right?
Okay.
We're going to have one party in 3 places, according to Kev Ham, event organizer and director of Big Sky Pride. Ham wanted the event to be held at the Helena Civic Center.
Wow.
Yeah, that's where I had my that's where my senior party was.
Okay.
Our senior all-night party. Did you do a senior all-night party? Ours was at the Helena Civic Center.
After graduating?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No.
The night of graduation, you go into a big senior all-night party. You didn't have that?
Me, my mom, my grandma, and my uncle went to Dairy Queen.
Oh,
and
you know how to live, man. You know how to live.
Called it a night. No, we didn't have like a post-graduation party.
Really?
Yeah, like a formal thing.
Yeah.
Wow, you and Helena, man.
Helena's a party capital
obviously,
of the world.
I mean, you've got your post-graduation parties and your what's it
and
called?
now
your party in 3 places drag show across town. I mean, what a happening place.
So they didn't have it at the Civic Center because they couldn't round up enough licensed bartenders. They don't have enough licensed bartenders in Helena, but they do have enough drag queens to do an event 3 times the size they've ever done it before.
So
good. Okay, good. Some of the 20 drag queens and kings performing Saturday will shuffle among the 3 bars for each performance. Hosts Hex Shadow, Christina Drake, and Diana Bourgeois.
Oh, Diana Bourgeois. You got Diana Bourgeois and Helena? That's amazing.
They'll all stay at their respective venues, emceeing the shows.
So hang on a second.
Okay.
What the Independent Record, the newspaper?
Mm-hmm.
How often do they print?
Every day.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, then Tom Bridge, the writer, he needs to update this because...
it used to be every day anyway.
Well, because on Saturday is when this event supposedly happened, and I'm not seeing...
did it already happen?
On the independent record, I'm not seeing an update.
Oh, man.
I just see this story that you're reading, and it's a little frustrating because I want to know.
So Saturday would have been the 15th. Is that when it happened? It happened already.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So, you wanted to get up there this
If you live in that area, I apologize.
Yeah, we're late on this.
You've missed this phenomenal event.
So we're late on this. I'm so sorry.
At least Putin on a Ritz knew about it, and so hopefully...
Can we get a report from Putin on a Ritz? Did you go there? I mean, how was it?
Call us, 888-900-3393, because I'd love to hear about the event.
I mean, this is...
While it isn't common for those under 21 to be allowed at events in downtown bars, those 18 and over are welcome at these drag queen events. Isn't that great? You want to open that up to as many... They should open this up to more than just 18-year-olds. I mean, 12, 6, 3. If you can walk, you can come to the event.
I like it. Am I
right?
Look, what's your... what is your Montana...
It's unbelievable.
What's your Montana Grizzlies mascot name? Because Grizz? Is it just Grizz?
I don't know.
The
I
Grizz,
think so.
Whatever. Because here he is.
Is he at the event?
At an event. I can't make my screen
in
any
Helena?
brighter. Yeah, and so there he is. He's holding up his gay-colored paw thing, growly thing.
No way.
Yeah, see that? It's got a little rainbow paw he's holding up there. Yay!
Oh, that's great. And was this at the drag queen event on Saturday?
This might have been at last year's.
Okay.
Yeah, 2019 deal. So
I'm glad that Grizz came down from Missoula, 114 miles away, to be there at the drag event.
I mean, there's awesome. There's certain big things that you want to go and attend, and that's one of them.
Oh, obviously. I mean, obviously.
So there you go.
It's just unbelievable. And yet, Montana is such a conservative state.
No.
Oh, man.
No.
Montana, are you kidding me? They elected a Democrat? Yeah. Yeah, Montana elects Democrats. Yeah.
Yeah, Max Baucus, right? I mean,
Max Baucus for 100 years. That guy was in office.
Idaho is being Californianized the way Colorado was.
Jeez.
So if you're looking for that conservative enclave that remains, is where?
Mm-hmm.
Where would you say? Don't say Texas, because we got some stuff happening here, especially when all of the Charles Schwab folks move in over here. This huge campus. It's relocating from San Francisco.
Oh, my gosh.
It's going to change us overnight.
Well, the infection from California is spread all through the West.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say Utah, but that's been infected as well.
I mean, they've ruined their state, and so obviously you want to get out, and then they go and they ruin other places.
The next
instead
one.
of learning their lesson and just
they don't
becoming like where they're going. No, they bring their political baggage and insane ideas with them.
That's crazy.
And it's spreading like a COVID-19, because I don't dare call it coronavirus, because that would obviously
hateful.
be racist and xenophobic if I did that.
Exactly. I don't know why, but it is.
It's drinking time. Going to the Rio, what is it called?
The Rialto.
Rialto?
Yeah.
Cool. What time do they open?
Enjoy my dad there.
Yeah. What time's the...
I think they're open all day.
I like it.
Yeah, all day and all night.
Very good.
I know they don't close until like 2 or 3 in the morning, so it should be quite a party.
That would be fun if we did a show in Helena, because then I could go and show prep there and then head into work.
888-900-3393. It's amazing. Amazing. Small town America. That's great. No, I'm glad that they've tripled the size of the drag queen party. That's awesome. Awesome.
Putin on a Ritz says that he loves that the mean streets of Helena is being represented like this. He's so proud.
He should be. Should be very, very proud.
But wait, then there's
I am.
But then there's a vomit emoji after that. I don't understand what message. It's very conflicting here.
He's got so excited he threw up. That's probably what it means. HGTV's House Hunters, too, have broken new ground. They've done their first throuple exploration. So a throuple, a couple with 3 people in it. 2 women and a man.
That Congresswoman taught us that word a few months ago, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. Now, HGTV has featured their first one, looking for a home together. That's great.
Good stuff.
So in the words of HGTV's first throuple, I don't want our bedroom to be weird unless we make it weird. That's what they said on the show. That's great. Fun. That's wonderful. It's a polyamorous relationship right there on HGTV. That's fun. Appropriate. Am I right?
Yeah, totally.
I mean, you want this normalized. You want it to be fine.
And just think, there's nothing safe for your kids anymore. You can't.
No.
It would be like a joke, like just weeks ago, if you said, my gosh, my kids are exposed to so much crazy stuff. I'm just going to have to turn on HGTV and let them sit in front of that and leave the room. That's the only channel I can trust them with. Apparently not.
No. In the episode titled Three's Not a Crowd in Colorado Springs, Brian, Lori, and Angelica, known as Jelly, searched for an abode following a commitment ceremony in Aruba.
Jelly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Brian and Lori married in 2002. They have 2 kids, and they're raising them with Jelly's input, of course. I mean, obviously. I understand from day one, even when we were dating, that Lori was bisexual and interested in women and men, and so we evolved to the point where we're comfortable having another woman in our lives.
Oh, that's good. So they're progressing.
Yes, it's great.
They're making progress.
Is that not wonderful? Congratulations on being so open-minded.
Yeah, that's the word I'm going with. Wonderful.
I understand from day one, even when we were dating. Oh, yeah, I already said that. Jelly met Brian and Lori at a bar, claimed the relationship evolved very naturally. Well, of course it evolved naturally.
Yeah, of course.
There's nothing more natural than a throuple.
Yeah, with someone named Jelly.
All right, let me take 60 seconds here. Tell you about Genesis 950. If you're thinking of replacing carpets because you got pet stains or odors or whatever, you got to try Genesis 950. I just had a bunch of new stains because we had a whole bunch of people over and many of them were grandkids, and I mean, stains like crazy. And I, again, used the Genesis 950, came right out. Before you consider replacing your carpets, try Genesis 950. It's an amazing pet stain remover. With water, Genesis 950 breaks down the bonds of stains or odors. They're gone for good. Antibacterial component removes pet stains and odors from carpeting and padding. 1 gallon of industrial strength Genesis 950 can make up to 7 gallons of cleaner. Genesis 950, it's available on Amazon.com, but if you order a gallon direct at Genesis950.com, you'll receive a free spray bottle and discount using the offer code BLAZE. Okay? That's Genesis 950. Genesis950.com.
By the way, Putin on a Ritz says it was fabulous.
Pat Gray, only on the Blaze Radio Network.